There's nothing to do but push the button. Push the button. I don't have my lemonade. I need my lemonade. So come on in. Come on in. Get settled. Let's get ready to have this debate, this topic of tagging. I've been tagged in everything that's going on today. So I'm getting ready to run out to an event. Actually, I'm getting ready to run out into the city. And then about 6 o'clock, I'm going to an event. So shout out to Clark Garrison, Jerry Garrison, the whole Garrison. Remember I told you, keeping up with the Garrisons. Keeping up with the Garrisons. If you're not in 2017, keeping up with the Garrisons, I don't know what you're doing. And probably you're not keeping up with the Garrisons because I haven't told you this is the year of keeping up with the Garrisons. Okay? And they're probably like, whoa, DryerBuzz is like shouting us out. Yeah, I'm shouting y'all out. Because I'm like waking up and I'm getting back into the groove of things. Okay, I'm putting on clothes. I'm getting dressed. I'm going out to events. Let me invite the Garrisons. How about we do that? And I got this new phone and I'm tapping it on everything. So I see Noella's already come in and Facebook says, yeah, that's your number one. She's in your top 20. Those of you that are already in the video, you guys are in my top 20 and I thank you so much for that, because what your top 20 is, these are the people that have their notifications turned on. They come in, even if they can't stay, they go ahead and give you a like, they give you a share. They put you on their timeline because they like giving their timeline good information, and it makes them look good. They know the WIIFM, what's in it for me. They know what's in it for me, not me, but them. So I just want to invite a couple people in, and I also want to invite the Garrisons because I don't have all the information. So let me find the Garrisons on here and get them invited. In fact, I'm just going to do this, GARR. And there they are. Okay. Dang. See, now I can't get back to it as I search for them. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Let me stay on this screen. GARR. And then I see it, but then it won't let me get rid of the keyboard to invite them. Golly, don't you just hate this? Social media is everything, but then it is nothing. It's everything. Oh, it's it. Okay, there it is, Garrison. All right, let's go ahead and get Angela in here. How about that? Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Okay, let's get started because I know you guys are busy. Hopefully you are busy. Hopefully you are having a beautiful Sunday morning. Do I need any more light? Let me see if we need some more light. I just light in the background back there. Maybe if I turn it, I don't know what to do with it. Spotlight! I'm being silly. I think that actually, let's light the back over there. All right, so hopefully, and then I set back into the darkness. All right, let's just go ahead and get started because I don't know what it looks like on your screen. What it looks like on my screen is a whole nother thing. And I need to get one of those ring lights, but I don't want to exactly do that. I'm good. Okay, so basically what I'm going to talk about, I got this bag for Christmas, and I'm not a brand person, but it's a brand on there. But it's the perfect. I needed like a nice black bag for when I go to like the galas and things like that. But I needed to carry all of my blog stuff. And most of the times, you know, on a press note, you either have on your press vest, which, you know, has all these wonderful pockets to put everything in. But then, you know, when I have to, you know, first and foremost, we want to talk about equality for women. Most of the apparel that women purchase don't have pockets. Like right now, I have on a t-shirt and some leggings or pants, right? And I don't have a single pocket. First and foremost, that's how women are discriminated upon. Now, it, of course, comes from, I'm about to laugh myself to death. Of course, it comes from the old adage of a fashion industry, whereas the woman would hire someone to get her dressed. They didn't think about those of us beyond the elite line that don't have maids and what do you call them? Not butlers, I guess butlers and things like that. You know, you don't have a maiden, somebody to get you dressed. So that's why there are so many different trends in female fashion is that you would have somebody to take care of all of that for you. But all of us are not billionaires, and we don't have that. We don't live in the White House. The average person can relate to those kinds of services available in the White House. Love the T-shirt, right? Curtis, isn't that awesome? I need to bring the camera down some. I got to get my posture together. Being on our phones and being lazy and always in your bed and just, now that I'm getting back in the chair, I notice my posture is just like, I got to get my posture. If somebody commented on one of my videos, like, where's your neck? It's like, I have one. It's in there somewhere. I'm like, you know how people are. Okay, so they got in my head. I'm like, dang. Because most of the time, I'm just like slumped. But now that I'm wearing my logo, sorry, I didn't mean to accentuate the logo and the girls, but now that I'm wearing my logo, Binge on Buzz, which is uniquely created by the number 4, Humanities. They're on the West Coast. So I'm loving that. I'm going to be rocking my brand. I needed a new uniform. I needed a new shirt. We're going from black to red. No, we're not Falcon fans, but we do represent red, black, and what's the other color? White, red, whatever. Okay, yeah, white, red, and black, which is what I have on. So, when I'm dressed like this on a Sunday, people think, she repping them Falcons. No, I'm repping DryerBuzz. The Falcons and I happen to be about the same age, except I've done a little bit more winning than they have. Anyway, I'm sorry, Falcon fans. I rise up. I keep one foot on the bandwagon. And I'm having that debate as to whether or not we need a new quarterback. We have changed everything. Not we, but the Atlanta Falcons have changed everything except for that quarterback. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to do one more year, and that's fine and dandy. I don't mind. I just think that, and hopefully, okay, we ain't gonna get into that. That's not the backlash and backfire. Well, yeah, that could go on the backlash and backfires, which is what we're gonna talk about here. But mainly we're gonna talk about the situation with Monique. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we need a new quarterback because he has an entirely new team, new coaches, new stadium. Hell, I think they got a new plane, new buses. I don't know, new hotel. I don't know. They moved to a new facility. I mean, everything has changed, and I think Atlanta has quarterback guilt. Because this is the town where the quarterback went to prison. But, Atlanta is also outside of Atlanta, because, it ain't really Atlanta. They don't really do much in Atlanta except for play on any given Sunday. But, this is also the place where Atlanta has a lot of things that have happened here that probably one of the reasons why we can't represent this sports the way, a lot of people say it's that whole karma thing. I don't know. Let's just call it one of the backlash and backfires. And apparently, the Falcons experienced their share of backfires, and people always relate it to some form of karma simply because of the history of the team lines up with the history of the city, and neither one has been winning. That's my new theme song, the Beyonce theme song. I'm not going to play it on Facebook because Facebook will throw me in Facebook jail based on Beyonce's ASCAP membership. We will not play her song. I don't know if she's ASCAP or BMI, something I should know, but knowing her with them $1 billion, she probably both. Okay, so before we get to the backlash and the backfire, and I explain where we are, those of you following me, trying to follow Monique, or basically Black female comics. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to answer a couple of questions as I have been tagged in some new gossip that's out there, some more turns that this thing has taken. But we're going to try and see it from a different perspective because we're always looking for how do we get to the solution. This, guys, is a new item that we're seeing in the shot there. This is for when we do the podcast. You can't see the artwork. Oh, my goodness. And I just, because I'm testing out a new shot because we got the iPhone X. And so we're going from we're actually going to pull it back out, the iPhone 6 Plus, which I don't know that they gave us anything different, but I noticed here we can't see the artwork and the screen is flipped, so I'm going backwards here. Okay, you can still see 27 Answers to Create Buzz, which is a book that should be on your bookshelf if you are trying to use social media for business. If you're trying to use social media for business, you should go, hey, Zakia Ringo, you should go to 27answers.com. And as I say that, if you look at a lot that, and somebody said I should shout out those that are really implementing the lessons of 27 Answers. Zakia Ringo would be a perfect example of that. The DeKalb County Fire and Rescue is a perfect example of how they have implemented using social media for public alerts, because a lot of times when there is a situation, especially in this climate, when you have to alert the public, you can't always wait for the news to get there or the media trucks to roll up or for the news to pay attention. So therefore, you need to have immediate access to those in which you serve. So this year, I will be working with a number of organizations. I probably need to have that off. Okay. But anyway, also like our Facebook page. I review 27 Answers weekly. That's what I'm talking about. Amazing testimony. And to see a number of people who actually implement the strategies. And two of the books that we have in the book basket come from two women who have probably brought more answers than anybody, and that would be Zakia Ringo. She has one of the lessons that both of these women took is that, oh, it says charge your phone. Oh, I hate that. And you know when you're on Facebook, you can't tell. So I'm going to have to grab the charger, which is right over here. But one of the things I have said is your book is your business card. So in just your little pamphlet-sized books, people will hold on to this longer than they will hold on to your flyer, your business card, and then also your t-shirt. And so shout out to Zakia Ringo as well as Demetria Bryant, who owns Harmony Travel. Both of them probably, as I said, definitely bought more answers than anybody, more answers, more consulting in the last couple of years. And it's so great to see them. And I'm not putting it behind the book. I'm putting it behind our current read on This Ain't That Book Club. So, it works. And these are tried and true articles that I wrote. And I just took 27 of those articles and how-tos and some of my greatest advice and put them in the book. After one of my mentors said, you answer the same questions all the time. And I was like, really? She said, yeah, I watched you. So you never know who's watching. And George Fraser, who's a mentor to everybody that wants success, allowed me to attend one of his events, and because of something I did for him, which has helped him migrate to social media, he told everybody that is somebody to do me a favor. And one of those was this woman, Henrietta Turnquist, observed me. And I was like, man, this lady is like just over there, just what's she doing? She just looking. Well, she was observing me, and she came up. And when I went to this event, George Fraser gave me a booth, and I didn't have any product. So I had to come up with a product like that, right? So I came up with a social media concierge service. I told my daughter, hey, pull out the laptop, whatever we got, let's just go. We got a booth, let's just go with it. And what we ended up doing was just basically taking people's business cards and creating their Twitter account. And I think during that weekend, we probably bought maybe 1,000 to 3,000 people on Twitter that weekend, and that left us with a database because we had their business card. I said, okay, we're going to create your Twitter account, and I'll email you what it is and your access and all that. And I told my daughter, we got to come up with a product. So when I emailed them their Twitter account, I emailed them an opportunity to take advantage of an $8 subscription. And that way, when they started using Twitter, because, other stuff wasn't out there yet, when they started using Twitter, I said, if you have questions, take the subscription. You can then continually ask me these questions. And that was one of the first times me taking what I knew about social media into a business arena by providing that kind of consulting. And she, standing off watching us run this booth, came up to me and said, this is what you're doing. You're answering the same question over and over and over. You need a book. And I was like, that whole publishing thing is so, encompassing of so I spent those 2 years. I spent 2 years after her telling me that researching publishing company, how to publish. And I remember somebody telling me a long time ago to do this, do that, do this and that. And I brought all of that and I said, and I started writing from scratch. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I writing from scratch when I have a blog? And I'm inspired by blogging. So I then went to the blog, and I grabbed a number of articles, and I got tired, and I was like, well, okay, the number that I have, how can I make this significant? And I thought about 27. I think at the time, somebody had sent me a book that was said 21 candles or something like that. Definitely, I remember it was a purple and white book. And it was one of the books that we did before we even had the book club. And I said, stop right there, because 2 + 7 is 9. 9 means completion. There's a rhythm, there's a rhyme and reason to everything that I do. And then I had to kind of scale it back, because I wanted 27, and I knew that would be my next brand. And I had a coach tell me, you need another brand. I was like, there's no way I'm giving up DryerBuzz, and no way I'm moving from that. And so I didn't really see it. But don't ever think that when somebody tells you something and you don't implement it right away, that it's lost. It's not lost. It's still there. There's something I'm getting ready to implement now that I'm having to go back that I did at the very beginning. And sometimes you have to. And that's why I'm writing the book now, 27 Answers to Begin Again, because all of this is beginning again. I'm beginning again to get back in this chair, to get back on this desktop, to get back under these lights, to get back into live streaming, to get back. I'm beginning again. And, and when you take it on in that vein, you merely understand, and you don't. My thing is, I don't want to feel bad that I stepped away. I don't want to look back and say I had to step away, or for whatever, for my own reasons for stepping away, and my own reasons for beginning again. I don't want to feel like, and notice I didn't say starting over. I'm not starting over. I'm beginning again. I'm not, because I don't have to go back to square one. And this time, there's so many lessons. I now know my team, because I can say that I trust everyone around me, because they've survived all that I've survived. And that's most important. People say there's no I in team, but there is. It's I team. I trust everyone around me. I-T-E-A-M. And I think because we go so hard trying not to have an I in team, but you have to have an I in team, because the people you surround yourself with, it is about you. If you fail, they fail. If they fail, you fail. You all got to work together. And it takes some going through. You may have to sever some relationships. You may have to heal some relationships. You may have to blow up some bridges. You may have to rebuild some bridges. And guess what? It all can be done. We have enough people out there that we've seen blow up bridges and rebuild exactly those same bridges. And a lot of times, think about it. When you want some brand new grass, what do? You burn the old grass. You burn it. I was watching one of those flip shows, and the guy they were refurbishing a houseboat, and he said, let's put some wood on there, but we're gonna burn the wood first. And they burned it. He said, why would we burn the wood? The shingles that they were gonna put on the exterior of the they didn't want to paint it. They said, well, we burn it, it would then reach such a state that we wouldn't have to do anything else to it. Okay, it's almost like the Phoenix, coming out of that destruction. Hell, they burned Atlanta. Thank God. Love you, dudes. Burned it to the ground. But look what rose up. Okay, we always got to be on the support of the guy that burned Atlanta. Don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever root for the other guy, people. We root for the guy that burned Atlanta, because that's how we got our freedom. Okay, I'm just saying. Don't be running around like some of you like Miss Tara. Let Miss Tara house get burned down. Don't ever let me hear you trying to root for Miss Tara. Let Miss Tara house get burned. Burn it. Burn the field. Burn it all. Burn it again. And again and again and again. Sometimes you have to do that kind of stuff. And so sometimes there's a few things I had to burn. There's a few things I had to blow up. Okay? But, and even blowing stuff up, people, it's like, it's the reverberation of the sound effects of the boom that when they hear that boom, they're like, oh, okay, we were on the wrong side of this explosion. We need to get on the right side. Okay, but anyway, just always, when I click that button, I'm going to ramble on top and stuff. So thank you guys so much for coming in. And again, remember I said, and all of that to say, no, not all of that to say, but shout out again, like I said, this is the year. Well, I won't mention them right after I said all of that. But what's in the blogger bag? So I thank my daughter for, this is one of my Christmas gifts. Let me put it over here. I forget the camera is backwards, so you can actually see it. Some of y'all are looking because you see a brand. I'm not a brand person. And I didn't even realize it to my daughter, like, oh, wait, that's a brand. I'm like, so I'm not modeling a brand. This is not a shopping network. But I needed the perfect black bag to take into some events. And because a lot of times when you are going in as media, as press, as a blogger, you have all this stuff that you have to carry with you. And as a woman, we just don't have pockets. And I have a press vest. But the press vest, you can't wear it everywhere, and so forth. So I just needed like a nice little clutch that I can just go in there. And then when I get in there, and if it's some buzz, I can then go into the buzz bag and I can put out a couple things. Now, what do I have in the buzz bag? Well, first and foremost, I have another device, okay? And this bag, as you notice, it is the size where I can put in my gadgets, my phones. I have a set. This is the old phone, guys. We have a new phone. This is the old phone, which was the iPhone 6 Plus. It'll also, my iPad, my mini iPad will also fit in here, but I'm not taking that. So I have this one, and since I'm going to pull this out, I'm also going to, before we go any further, after I got all of that out of the way, what we're going to do with this, if I can remember, now I'm confused because this one still has the home button, and I'm like, I've gotten used to not having a home button. But what we're going to do with this one is we're going to toss this baby over there on, let me see if I have it still on here. We're going to go ahead and bring in Periscope. No sense in having two devices without having two streams. No sense in having two devices without having two streams. So the first thing out of the bag is your second gadget, okay? So let me turn that around. We'll go ahead and get them on there. Oh, no, wait. It's so funny because what I did was I copied the thing from here thinking it's going to go over here. So we're going to say, what do we call it? Backlash and backfires. And backfires. If I can type, why is it coming up rock? I'm trying to say backfires. I can't even type, guys. Backlash and backfires with DryerBuzz. Plus what's in the blogger's bag. Shout out also, let me give another shout out to Caused by Nature. So I have a place right up here above you guys. We're going to just slide that puppy in there. We're just going to go ahead and go live. Boom. Okay. Now they're up high. Can I bring that down? I won't worry about it. Okay. Hey, Periscope. Hey, guys. It's Yolanda at DryerBuzz. We're live on Facebook. You can jump over here on the Facebook. Hopefully having the two streams going won't interfere with anything. So, and I'm going to have to go high and low, high and low. Oh, my God, that is high. I don't cut my, what? I don't cut my damn, oh, you done cut your finger trying to watch and listen. So, what we're talking about is, we're going to talk about backlash and backfires. I got to answer some stuff about the whole Monique situation as it relates to those of us looking at it with a third eye, okay? But now, we said what's in a blogger's bag. We're on that portion. And what's in a blogger's bag? A second device. I pulled out my second device. I put it up there. And now you guys are on with us on Periscope. What else is in a blogger's bag, Yolanda? Of course, a comfortable shoe. Definitely. You got to have your comfortable shoe. And I found this little shoe. And it's a nice little suede shoe. Again, I ain't selling. I ain't got no links, no nothing. People just be asking me, how do I do what I do? First and foremost, I am not that female. I'll be walking around like a giraffe with my feet hurt, walking on my knees, or none of that. I'm comfortable. I've had my time wearing my stilettos. And a lot of times when I get in an event, and depending on what the situation is, if you're going in as press, as a blogger, you're getting on the red carpet and things like that. I mean, you can go in looking at it. And I know the stiletto is a status symbol, and a lot of people won't even give you the time of day if your feet ain't hurting. But this is what you need to have in your bag. And it collapsed. It doesn't fold. Well, I guess it does. I found it somewhere, some little shop. And I thought it was just perfect. A nice little suede shoe, and it collapses enough to fit in the bag, both of them. So when I'm on the carpet or if I'm leaving an event, or hell, I'm wearing this to the event. Well, I got to wear another shoe to something else. So when I go where I'm going to be chilling and going around getting interviews, so that's in my bag. This is what's in my bag. And ladies, let me tell you, no, fellas, I don't talk to the ladies. Fellas. And I told my son this. I said, son, let me tell you something about you going out on a date. Because I see so many of y'all walking with these women and they feet be hurting and y'all won't call the lift. You ain't valet parked. You know. The fella don't want a valet park. That's gonna be your life, okay? He didn't valet park. Fellas, not ladies. Fellas, you didn't valet park. You got hired. Done went in the restaurant. Done went in the club. Done went to the show. Done went all this. Now you done parked down there in the cheap park, and now y'all got to walk. And you won't even call a lift. You won't get the Uber. You know, at least go in your pocket, and not this. But there is a shoe out there that you can get on Amazon. You can go on Amazon and get it. You can get it probably in the club. It goes in your pocket. Fellas, y'all got pockets. We as women, all we have is a bag, and it's usually smaller than this. Y'all got pockets. We don't have pockets. I told my son, I said, son, and I ain't tell him like trying to, I ain't tell him like, this how you get it. I don't even want to know all that, baby boy. I'm just saying, when you go on a date with a woman, I need you to, at the end of the evening, go in your pocket, pull out this little packet. Now, that packet too, but the mama ain't trying to have that conversation with you. That packet too, but there's another little packet I need you to pull out. And in that packet, there's a shoe. There's a pair of shoes. There's a little slipper that folds up. It goes in your pocket. I need you to pull that out and give that to her when you see the stilettos is kicking in. You pull that out and let her get comfortable. Because I see y'all ladies, y'all walking down the street barefoot. Y'all walking down the street, your feet hurt. Fellas, go over there to Amazon. And it comes in a little packet. Fellas, y'all got the pockets. In your pocket, for your date, you don't want to carry the umbrella, you should have a poncho. For her, you should have that packet, the little packet, y'all, but you should have a poncho, okay? And you should have this little packet of shoes. And it's so cute. It's so neat, and it will warm her heart over. I don't care how many women you rocking. I don't know what y'all doing, but this little packet, hey, y'all take. It's a little packet of a little ballerina, almost like a little slipper. And they're gorgeous slippers. They're not necessarily disposable, but they are in a little packet. It fits into your pocket. Pull it out. Give her that. Let her slip that on, especially if you didn't park in the valet, especially if you didn't order the Uber and the Lyft, because she's not going to tell you her feet hurt, but she needs to sit down real quick. But give her that. Let her slip it on, and especially depending on some of these cities where the sidewalks are literally just eating up our shoes and things like that. So get this little packet. You can buy them for probably $3, $4, $5 or less. Hopefully, you feel like she's worth that. But go over there on the Amazon and get that. And sorry for Periscope. You guys are up so high over there. Let me get that light out your face there. Okay. All right. So get this little packet, fellas. Put it in your pocket. I told my son. In fact, I shared the link, because the woman you bring around me, I want her to know that she can love you just as much as me and your sisters and all that. So, but back in the blogger's bag, I have my little slipper. Now, it does look a little, some of them, they're variations. And some of them are really gorgeous, really beautiful, but they will fit. Fellas, you don't worry about, pulling out something like this. But ladies, you can go a step further and get something like this in your bag. So what else is in the blogger's bag? So again, the other shoe. So we pulled out a device, we pulled out the shoes. The shoes just fell on the floor down there. Next, what's in the blogger's bag is, ta-da! Of course, a microphone. Got to have a microphone, right? See that? And this is actually, I found this one. I have one that has a cord, but this is basically a Bluetooth mic. And a lot of y'all got this for Christmas for the, I'm not going to turn it on because I hadn't paired it yet with the new phone. But a microphone is in my bag. And then, of course, and I'm kind of worried about whether or not I should have this in the bag, because I certainly don't want to get to an event and it doesn't. And then, of course, my selfie stick is in the bag. See that? That's what's in the blogger bag. So I will put one of the phone devices on here, and then I have the Bluetooth microphone, and this is my life right here. This is literally my life, and this is what I want to do when I get to where I'm going. When I go to hang out with the Garrisons, I will be doing interviews, and this is what separates you apart from just somebody bootlegging an event. Okay, when you're out there blogging of an event, nobody's gonna say anything when you have the mic. Let me get the mic turned around there, right? So we got the branding on the mic. See the branding on the mic. Okay, see the branding on the mic, and of course it has the sound effects and all that. If I turn it on, it's gonna try and Bluetooth to the Periscope. And Periscope,
the Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
And I really got this for my Periscope viewers. This was all you guys. Let me see if I can turn it on. It says connected, so it's on Periscope. Because Periscope watches me, Facebook. Whoop, there it is. I know, right? Periscope watch. Now, right now, the speaker is on, but I'll turn on the mic. If I remember what button. Down. There it is. Okay, so now I'm amplified. Not only am I amplified, but it's literally, I can walk away from the screen. And this is inspired. Getting this microphone is inspired by Periscope, because Periscope watches me when I do the blog workshops. And oftentimes I had to stand next to the device, but they couldn't hear the questions that people would ask in the audience about when we do the 27 Answers Learn to Blog Free, Learn to Blog workshops, which will be coming back this spring. And on the 27th of each month will be our creatives meetup. We're going to go venture beyond blogging, and it's going to become a really nice networking. But I'm going to have microphones like this because, as you know, we oftentimes had to have the sound system, and depending on where we are, and I just imagine I'm on the red carpet and other things like that. So it's just bossing up, right? It's just bossing up. You know what I'm saying? It's just bossing up. It's so funny. I love that. I love that. And I took this to the Women's March, and I took, it's just something that you need. So now, let's say, for instance, if I had the devices on and I went across the room, or if I'm just getting my Oprah on. And this is how I started, just getting my Oprah on. That's all. It's just the Oprah. I'm going to call it Oprah, but, ooh, I like that. That's a look. Screenshot. Okay. Screenshot. Okay. It's all blogging. And as a matter of fact, that I think it's a name, because we did a series of videos over on YouTube. If you're not like my YouTube channel, and see, I love this because Periscope, this sound is going directly into Periscope. But if you haven't followed the YouTube channel, do follow the YouTube channel, because we have a series on there called It's All Blogging, and that's what our meetup is called, It's All Blogging, and we're trying to decide whether or not to stay on Meetup or to go on to another platform. So I want to turn this off now and go back to the room. But those of you that are on Facebook, you hear it through the speaker here, but I'm actually patched in through the Bluetooth right now into the Periscope. And what it does, and one of the reasons you want to have your microphone, and I learned this from Jonathan Simmons, is that having the microphone, and when I'm in a room, and usually I'm in a room with some real good people, and I end up with some amazing interviews, but because there's so much background noise, that, like one day, one of the best interviews I had was with Angela Bassett, because I, ended up backstage at My Black is, one of the first My Black is Beautiful events, and I ended up backstage, and I ended up with this one-on-one with Angela Bassett, but then I had all this background noise, and then I had all these other interviews, and so I needed to go ahead and up the mic game. But I wanted to do it cordless, Yolanda, turn the mic off now. They don't need to hear the mic now. It's got your screenshots of how boss this is. Okay, I'm going to turn the mic off now. But think about it, and this is going back in the bag. Okay, wait, no, what goes in first? Okay, the selfie stick goes in first. Let me see, how did I have this in there? And I'm afraid of having my selfie stick in here until I get really used to this, because I don't want to get to an event and then pull out the selfie stick. In fact, I want it to be comfortable in there. So that in of itself, and I'm not packing this right because I don't feel like the shoes are going to go back in, but because I need the shoes to go back in, because it's a rainy day and I don't want to wear my shoes. Okay, it goes on that side, and then it goes down in there. All right, so we have the stick. I want to make sure, I don't want to pull it out and that stick be messed up, y'all. Okay, so then the stick went in, and now the microphone is going in, and the microphone is charged. I probably need to charge it a little bit more. So Now the microphone is going in. And then, of course, what's going back in? The shoes are going back in because it's a rainy day in Georgia. I don't want to wear the shoes. I'll pull those out. So now the shoes are going back in. Okay. So now we have a blog packet, and we have it in a nice, in this nice bag. And again, it's a bag I got for Christmas. And it's a nice clutch. And then I'll just zip it up, and then I'm ready to go. I'm going to put on my jacket. I'm going to wrap myself in my red and my black. And then I have my black bag. And it's a blogger bag. And I know y'all see it's a brand bag. My daughter is into brands. And now I got a wallet and all that kind of stuff. So basically I'm going to just put my little ID in there. Why? Because women don't have pockets. The biggest discrimination women face is that women don't have pockets. I'm wearing a pair of pants, and there's not a pocket yet on the pants. Or if there is pockets, it's a faux pocket. Like, why doesn't the fashion industry give women pockets? Because if the fashion industry, want to talk about me too, if the fashion industry gave a woman a pocket, it would take away her silhouette, which apparently men are enjoying without us even realizing it. And I have on a serious pair of leggings, and literally, if you guys can see that, there's a faux pocket. You guys can't see it on Periscope. I have a pocket. It has a zipper, but look, it's a faux pocket. What the dickens? Look, it's a pocket. There, you guys can't see. I'm too short to get it up on Periscope. It's got a nice gold zipper on it. I can zip it and unzip it, but it's a faux pocket. Why are we not giving women pockets? Okay, we'll see. Just don't back down this evening. Wait a minute, what am I missing? Good afternoon, Queen. Love you. Thank you. That mic seemed to have positive impact on the Facebook side, even though connected on Periscope, because it has a speaker. The microphone, the base of that microphone is a speaker. So one of the things I love about it is I can go into a room playing my theme song. Yeah, I'm that person. It's a speaker as well, so you get 2 in 1. And then also it connects to Bluetooth. So if I wanted to, I can connect it to any kind of device. And if you think about it, in a situation in a room where there's no telling what's Bluetooth within that room. So, and the positive impact is that if you heard it, you were listening through the speaker. All right, let's see. It said, do you want to tag Helen? Keep thinking Helen and I say double duty, right? So yeah, it does. It has a speaker on there. This part right here, this box is a speaker. See that? See that side? See, I just covered up the branding that was on there. It's basically just a karaoke mic, and so it has a speaker, and then the speaker echoes on the other side. So yeah, I just covered up the branding with my own branding. Okay, we got our second battery warning. So let me grab a charger right quick and get you guys. I think it's stuck in. I think it's in a place where I can plug it up. Bear with me, guys. And the next thing, I need to go back and get some more cords that I get longer cords, but luckily we are set up here. Isn't that the charger port? There we go. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Backlash and backfires. When we talk about backlash and backfires, first of all, I am a social media contributor on a number of stations. Shout out to A Closer Look with Rose Scott. Also, I'm a contributor on Chandon's Corner, weekly Wednesdays on Love 860. I contribute to, I get calls each and pretty much all day. Can you comment on this? Can you comment on that? And I'm not currently blogging at DryerBuzz.com. We are going through a site makeover. We need to do a major renovation. The site ended up, see, that does seem to impact. I guess I could turn it off. It did, didn't it? Let me see, hold on. There we go. Okay. We are getting ready to do a makeover. We haven't done a makeover on the site in a long time, and I myself are trying to get back to my glory. But we're looking at what's needed in a website. And so, and what's needed, we always are debating over the website and the app and how to feed you the information. Right now, our larger audience is your audience is everywhere, and we're trying to pull that in, and we're looking at reviewing that as well. And still, I think the website, your hair makes you, wow, look at that. So sad. Hang out a little bit more, and I'm glad you thought about that. I'm telling you. So I'm looking at what we need. 16 years. We've got 16 years of content out there at DryerBuzz.com. And so let me see. Hold on. Somebody just started using Periscope and they don't realize the value in it. So I gotta let them go. Staples sell long iPhone cords. Yeah, actually, you know what? You can get them cheaper at the iPhone store. And I like buying my cords at the iPhone store because there's no telling where these cords coming from. But so what we're looking at is where we need to go with the website. And that basically depends on the search engines. Google has sent out a list of things that websites now have to do in order to appear in their search engines, and a lot of people have lost their search engine traffic until you go through all of these different steps. And WordPress, we are on WordPress site. WordPress, as you know, is always vulnerable. There's always updates, and so it takes a lot of work. And I've been my own webmaster for those 20 plus years. And definitely as the editor of DryerBuzz, I've been my own webmaster. So I managed the site. I did all the writing. So this year, I want to automate that process. I want to outsource it. I want to outsource it all. And so we're looking at where to put that as far as the services are concerned. I just don't want to have to deal with that. We are opening up to submissions this year. We've always been open to guest blogging and things like that, but we're opening up for paid writers this year. $27 is an article incentive that we are offering. We will have a section on the site that will tell you what's the stories that we're looking for in that week, and you'll be able to submit those stories and so forth. And hey, Dad, and you'll be able to submit those stories in those writings and those categories and things like that. Definitely, sports, Begin Again, 27. Oh, as a matter of fact, once I do the ebook to 27 Answers to Begin Again, I'm also going to do kind of an anthology, bringing together 27 stories, 27 personas of people who literally had to begin again and how they won at beginning again. Hey, Dad. And so, I'm excited about that, and I'm looking at who I want those 27 people to be. And I mean, from all sectors of life and industries and different things like that. She said, hey, hashtag Daddy Buzz. And so that's something that's going to come this year. And one of the reasons I'm going to do this year, because it is the 16th, our sweet 16th year. And that's really what got me to continue, because I was tired and ready to lay it all down. And but I have found those things that I am excited and still engagingly passionate about. In people, I still was able to come up with maybe a short list, but still a list of people that I would like to possibly interview or possibly meet. One thing about living in Atlanta, there's a lot of stuff that gets recycled over and over and over again. I've met all the local celebrities. I've been to all the events, and I'm just not interested in that right now. And I find that with some of the attitudes and things like that now take place on the red carpet. I don't have the bail money for that. I'm not trying to save any kind of bail money. I love my lawyers. I ain't trying to keep them that busy. And so I don't want to hurt anybody, just like I don't go into some of these stores because I like my personal space. And, stepping into my personal space, I just ain't afraid. I'm not that person, okay? I may be 5'2", but I can get down. I'm just saying. And that's some of the stuff that's going on out there. And I don't want that life no more. But I do love, and I still find that I have a spider sense or a buzz sense when there is still a very unique story. And so I like that. And I have found a new lane of which to network in, to tell those stories. And so, and I was like, wait a minute, I still get excited. I still get excited about meeting people. I still get excited about stories and things. Like I went to the theater the other night and I'm like, wait a minute. When I left, I felt like, wait, I have something to say. I have channels in which to say it. So then I jumped out, let me say it. And then all these amazing things happen. Like stepping out is like when I first stepped back out on the red carpet, not red carpet, it wasn't even red carpet. I guess I did, there was a carpet. But the confirmation of me taking the time off and then coming back now that I'm back tells me that I did it at the right time. I began again at the right time because everything conveniently still fell into place. The channels, the tools, the technique, the support, the team, all of that was like, okay, let's go get it, and the ideas are flowing again, and so forth. And speaking of which, Mark Polite just came in. Hey, Mark, and Mark being open to ideas when I said, hey, Mark, I think I'm ready to begin again. And he's like, hey, let's go. Which direction you want to go? And that's when the loyalty. The loyalty is still there. And that's something that is really important in doing what you're doing. You need to make sure. And even if you get out here and you make a mistake and you say the wrong thing, or you go off or you blow up a bridge, it is the loyalty. And not only that, the fact that I have people that say like, okay, you went over a deep end. You want to have not just yes people, but you want to have people and not necessarily no people. Like we all love yes people, but it's not necessarily no people. But you want to have somebody to tell you to kind of slow your roll, or one thing, not necessarily tell you, well, you shouldn't have really did that, or I wouldn't have never done it that way, or this and the other, because that person should know you and know you enough that that's how you roll. But just to make sure if you fall, that they can cushion your fall. And you don't want a lot of people around you waiting for the fall, because those are people that they just know you make a bunch of mistakes. They know you make errors. So you don't want that in your circle. Like I know that there's nobody waiting for me to make some kind of grave error, because they know that that's not necessarily what I do. I might get on here and turn on my cameras and I might rant a little bit. I might rant. But I love the fact that even in my rants, people will say to me, I never thought about it that way. You do give another side of the way in which we can look at this thing. Even in the Monique situation, nobody's coming at me and say, well, Yolanda, Monique done turned out to be kind of cuckoo crazy. No, they're still trying to find a rationale in what is going on. If people talk about the backlash and the backfires. Did this backfire? No, I still cannot say that it honestly backfired. What I can say about this situation, and them trying to pull us in as an audience, and them trying to pull us in and sway us to go one way or another as an audience, this situation now appears to be unhealthy. Okay, and that's not me saying that one person or another is cuckoo crazy, even though it kind of looks that way. There's something unhealthy about this, and thanks so much. Anitra just came in, because here's where I am on this today, and this is where I am, where I've been on this from the beginning, is I have always said that any kind of movement, and we know this from the history of the civil rights movement. We can go back to Rosa Parks. There's a reason. Let me take a sip here. There's a reason Rosa Parks was chosen as the face of that movement. There's a reason why there was one particular family chosen in the case of Board versus the Board of Education. Brown versus Board of Education. There's a reason that one particular family was chosen. There's a reason that Sojourner, we went on, we now today thank Sojourner Truth for the women's suffrage, going up against the women's suffrage movement. Because, there were a lot of people that had these issues. There were a lot of movements. Hey, Patrick Phillips, there have been a lot of movements. There's a reason why Patrice is, the face of one of the founding members of Black Lives Matter. You know, there's a lot of people that went out there. A lot of people use the hashtag. There's a lot of people use a lot of hashtags. There are a lot of people that have gone out and saying, listen, it's time for a lot of uprisings because it's strategic. And you want to find somebody. Now, mind you, you know, there is no machine behind this. There's no organization behind this. This is, you know, it started out, it's like, hey, listen, Monique said to her supporters, here's a problem I'm having dealing with Netflix. And there's a whole lot of people being thrown in. And the last two, you know, kind of are now leaking emails and conversations. And the last two, of course, and one I'm not going to mention, but I will mention Will Packer. Because everybody knows that Will Packer has found amazing success in dealing in getting his deals. I won't say dealing with, but getting his deals from Hollywood. And Monique mentioned him at 27 minutes into the Periscope, and I'm not sure how long we've been on here, but. And I didn't want to go right into it. I want to talk about a couple things as we always do. Everybody know, hey, look, fast forward. But there's a reason why it's now taken a turn too, actually. One is the character of those leading the charge, and the charge was to boycott Netflix. Now, anybody that follows me knows that I know, number one, about strategic movements, about strategic actions, about strategic calls to action. I have studied Black people and their economics and their money down to the penny, okay? That's what I do. I sit at this computer. I'm not just a blogger. I sit at this computer every day, all day, and I do research, okay? I do research. I read all kind of reports, and there are reports that are published about Black America, all of America, particularly of interest to us is Black America. I've been around at every buy black and all this kind of stuff, how Black folks spend their money. And the one thing that I know, and the one thing that I have learned over the course of the years, and even from my own experiment that I did through social media, which was called Matching Millions and the Wealth Gap, and looking at the wealth gap, and in learning why the wealth gap absolutely exists among Black America and everybody else, is simply because you just don't tell Black people how to spend their money. For those of you who think that the bus boycott is our best movement, I can't tell you how much hell people raise being told not to get on the bus. To actually, you mean walk miles to work? You mean walk? There was a war within a community, in the community, about not getting on the bus. It ain't like people said, okay, let's boycott the bus, and everybody just got off the bus. No, that ain't what happened. Some of them had to be beaten and dragged off that bus. Just like Harriet Tubman, when she was going to make sure, look, y'all, I know the way to take you to freedom. And they was like, well, you're going to have to shoot me because I ain't going. She was like, shot them some, but you're dead. I'm here to stop feminism. Okay, stop feminism as you can. And that's why Harriet Tubman shot some folk, because it was a whole lot of people that went back. That's why we hear on the day that in the Dr. Martin Luther King movement, he had an approval rating that 60% wanted him to go sit down somewhere. You know, because 60% will always not want you to rock the boat. 60% will always not want you to rock the boat. 30% is like, let's rock the hell out of that boat. And 10% is the ones that's in the boat, okay? They in the boat, they unbothered. You know that person, that one Black person that loved being the only Black person in the room, that Black person that loves to be the only Black person enjoying gentrification, okay? Let's break it down. 60, 30, 10. 60, 30, 10. 60% will always entice you not to rock the boat. Okay, they like the status quo. They love that. They jumped out there and they said, well, I love my Netflix. I didn't cut the cord. I don't know what Monique talking about. I got to watch my Netflix. And that's all fine and dandy, because that means that Monique wasn't talking to you anyway. Monique was talking to her 20%, her followers. Now, notice I didn't even say her 30%. I said her 20%. Okay, because 10% of her 30% jumped out the way real quick, because they didn't know where they were. They was trying to hang on. They was trying to be legit, but they fell off real quick when people started going after her and saying that this thing was going to backfire. So then she was left for her 20%, trying to fight that 10%, which you know that 10% breaks down into 1% and 9%. Okay, let me see. That's the problem. Women say they are strong, independent Black women and don't need a man. You trying to open up a whole other can of worms up there. Okay, but anyway, because Monique is fighting this fight with the man. So let's just push that aside. Her man is right there beside her, boo-hooing and all. Okay, so let's just talk about this. But what comes down to it today, and yes, I did cancel my Netflix, and yes, somebody in my family, nobody want to admit it. The minute I canceled it, they went right behind me and renewed it. I ain't found out who did it yet. Nobody want to come forward. You're replacing the man with a stake. But see, the thing about it is, that was another issue that came out of the Monique thing, because the first thing people said, she needed to fire her husband as her manager. She needed to divorce her. She needed to leave her man. And that's what's coming out today in some of these emails, that how he is negotiating, how he is handling this situation. And that's why, and I feel you on that, because I kept saying, like, well, why are people saying that she need to get rid of her man? That's not it. That's not it. Now, again, I said that there's something unhealthy in this, and that's part of the unhealthy part of this situation, that, in order for you to feel like you need to deal with Monique, you got to get rid of her man. That's not it. Now, mind you, one thing this is where I went to and trying to make sense of this whole thing. I was like, why can't people get behind Monique? And they keep making it personal. But it keeps becoming emotional. And so you can't get to the table and talk about numbers with an emotion. You got to take the emotion out of it. Passion is okay, but something in the emotion as to why people can't hear what Monique is saying. The kids renewed the Netflix subscription. Yes, the minute I quit, somebody went right behind me like, Mama done lost her mind. Okay. Now, mind you, like all of y'all was saying how y'all got accounts on somebody's Netflix. Apparently, that's going on around here. When I go to log in, it's like all these different profiles on there. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me see. To be honest, she doesn't have a leg to stand on. She does have a leg to stand on. She clearly has a leg to stand on. The problem is, and this is why I say, tell us why. Go ahead and I'll read your comment. Somebody wants to tell us why. Who is that talking? Hands wants to tell us why Monique doesn't have a leg to stand on. Here's my reason why I say it has nothing to do with race or anything. Yeah, I think you're right, because what we tried to look at through all of this is, first and foremost, why are people not hearing Monique? Why are they not even willing to listen to Monique? And that's what I kept coming back to. I said, something's going on here where people aren't even willing to listen. It's simply she's not popping. She is popping, because, let's not forget, Monique had a movie out just within the last year, that made $25 million profit. So she is popping. And that's the thing. Her numbers, if you look at her numbers, they will speak for her better than she has played her case. But And here's the thing about it too. Social media is one thing, okay? But social media has really yet to convert in the dollars that people think it is. You can have 1 million followers, but if you can't get those million to put their butts in the seat, like say for instance, I've been blogging for 16 years. Now everywhere I go, you guys are gonna jump on my stream. You can't wait for me to log off here and log on at my next event. Are you going to get dressed and then go with me to that event? No, because you know that I'm probably gonna be live in some aspect. So the conversion from social media hasn't really yet happened, okay? And Hollywood is scratching their head because they're like, well, shit, 32 million of y'all will watch a trailer or a clip and share it and get it viral and all of that, but then they can't make $100 million in the box office, which used to be the average number of an American Open, okay? Now, internationally, those numbers are crazy. It is absolutely true. It is absolutely true. If it wasn't the case, why isn't it? Name me one. Now, there's a whole bunch of funny comedians on social media right now that have insane following. You've not yet watched their special on Netflix. You watch Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle don't even want to be on social media. You talk about, who else y'all talk about? Y'all threw somebody else up in there. Aziz Ansari, who has his own situation. DC Young Fly has a Netflix special. Has he? Okay, you asked it. Did Monique sell out? Has he sold out Madison Square Gardens? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. No. Okay. That's what I'm saying. They've not figured out yet how to, not yet, okay? Okay, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't need to. Why does he not need to? Because I mean, that's the status now. Oh, to sell out Madison Square. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about why is it different from some? And he doesn't need to, but Monique needs to. He has other opportunities. Everybody has his opportunity. Hell, Will Smith just got on Instagram and YouTube. Okay, talk about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is on social media each and every day. Kevin Hart, in the leaked Sony emails, got paid to do the movie, but then charged him to do social media, right? And they just got Will Smith. Will Smith virtually boycotted. So he's like, I'm not doing no social media. Will Smith just launched a YouTube channel and is putting out videos each and every day and just got to 100 subscribers, right? Because social media does play a part at the table these days. But now you're talking about Will Smith. Will Smith used to be the blockbuster guy. He would have a movie come out 4th of July and definitely do $100 to $200 million, okay? On the state side, not counting international. Will Smith just came back from Australia. He just went on a tour with his Netflix special. His blockbuster is bankrupt. Exactly. Will Smith just did his deal with Netflix with this television show. But Netflix is like, listen, these people have got to be told right at the time the show is coming on to go watch the show. His show came on and it did about maybe 50-50. Half of the people liked it, half of the people didn't like it, and he had it to, and there was no virability about it that they control. See, it can go viral, but if they don't control it, they can't convert it, right? You're out there talking about Bright, Will Smith's show, but Will wasn't talking about Bright. Will wasn't dropping Bright videos. And so they were like, listen, and so Will went and got him AA Ron from Australia, and he got AA Ron running around with him, capturing everything, and they dropping it on Instagram, and they dropping it on YouTube. And say something else so I can catch your comment up there. So those are the things that's a misstep. That's one of the missteps that Monique made, was in telling people to, and Wanda Sykes said that, in telling people not to go to Netflix, she didn't give them an alternative. Because clearly what she could have done is say, hell, go to my website, do a pay-per-view, and watch the special. You know, so she left the money on the table. She didn't take their money, but she still left money on the table by not capitalizing off the fact that she ended up on a major press junket after this thing, and you still can't go watch the special. And I don't know that anybody's come to the table. I mean, I would have been like, look, pay-per-view. Monique's fan base is old people. Hell, I'm old. What are you talking about? You watching me? I'm old. Like you. I've never even heard of her, and I'm 25. And that's okay. That's why I said she wasn't talking to everybody. And see, that's the misstep we make about social media. And that's what when I'm working with these companies, and I tell them, just because you're talking to your fan base, you are talking to your fan base, but there are no walls. There are no those old school demographics. There's a TED Talk about thinking in terms of old school demographics, okay? And let me tell you something about being old. Television right now is in the point trying to come back to us because they realize there's no audience for them with the millennials. So they're trying to reboot all of these TV shows. So, you know, Monique, you got to understand, she might just be ahead of the game. Okay? She might just be, and sometimes that's going to happen because a lot of times there are pioneers out there that do things that we have not yet seen before. But what you need to watch for now, from Monique on, every time that anybody does a deal, they're going to make sure that it is an on-par deal. With what she just did, I guarantee you more people now are going to get an honest deal. It's the same thing with the record labels. You know, the record labels were always taking everybody's rights and to perpetuity, the publishing deal and all of that until people came along and started putting their foot down like, no, I want to own my stuff. And that's what happened here, regardless of if they say that they offer $3 million to $500,000, whatever that discrepancy is. At this point on now, in order to make sure that they are viewed in proper light, they're going to make sure that they come to the table. They still doing 360 deals. Wow. Who's signing for them? That's what I'm saying. They're going to make sure that they do it. Because and we were talking about being strategic in this, and one name that everybody keeps throwing out there, well, she's not Tiffany Haddish, and this, that, and the other. And you notice over the last year since Road Trip, Girls Trip, which probably Tiffany Haddish probably didn't get a great deal on that because, you know, she was the lowest on the totem pole in that movie, and they all did it, you know, probably for the low. It's not people standing up that's making the change. It's technology. But all of these industries have been fighting technology from the beginning. The music industry fought technology and lost. The newspaper industry fought technology and lost. The television industry learned from the newspaper industry and the movie industry and decided to incorporate technology. They still kind of lost a little bit, but they didn't lose everything. They didn't lose their everything like newspapers and the music industry did. And so now we're at a point, and radio fought technology and lost. What other industry? And now, you know, and Netflix was the new industry. You know, Netflix killed Blockbuster. Let's not forget about that. They killed local stuff. But look, hell, Redbox is still out there giving Netflix a run for their money. And the DVD section, and Netflix didn't even kill the DVD section. You go on your DVD, go on Target. Hell, Target still has 5 rows of DVDs. You can start a label and put out your own music. But see, here's the issue with that. And I interviewed Will Packer and Rob Hardy years ago. And I asked them why, you know, because every black filmmaker, they can make as many films, they can own as many studios as they want, and it still comes back down to a distribution deal. And this is why the music industry still has a hold on artists. This is why Netflix has a hold on artists, because those are they have the distribution channels. No matter how innovative or creative we have been in this sphere, we have not yet tackled distribution. I have a company called Sistribution, and we do virtual and cyber distribution. And so, I mean, I just knew you can't have a product without distribution. You got to have distribution. So the name of my company, my publishing company, is called Sistribution, because I'm a sister who knows all about distribution. And so we're still at that point. Look at the people that are in this conversation. Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, Monique, Will Packer, Netflix. It's all about distribution. Digital distribution is just as good. It is just as good, but the people that I just named you have said no to digital distribution. All of them. Oprah did a little bit with Facebook, right? All of them have bypassed digital distribution, because what Will Packer told me is that, and I don't know if it was Will Packer or Rob Hardy, one of them I interviewed, said that the reason they have not gone to those channels because those channels don't have the upfront money. And that's what's going on with this. It boils down to the notion that black women are damaged. This is to say that Monique didn't get the deal she deserves because it's her fault. A lot of people are trying to say that it's her fault because she obviously did something wrong. Let me see. It says see more. Let me see if it'll give me that. Yep, you're sure typing. And that's what I said. That's what we were trying to look at, Philip, Patrick, is that why is it that people weren't listening? Because everybody was saying she's making valid points. And I kept trying to figure out, why are people still saying but? And one of the reasons that they were saying but is because she cannot be the face of this movement based on the fact that people view an underlying unhealthy situation. In all that Monique is, and all that people are saying, and how they come to find out about her, supported her, where they've been with her throughout this entire journey, it continues to come back to something that people deem to be unhealthy. My unhealthy straw was the whole daddy thing. When they got on the podcast the other day, and they went on to say, she was trying to explain why she called him daddy. I'm like, why are we even discussing that? Why is that even in the conversation? I don't want that. And she was trying to justify this mark that everybody keeps saying, the woman, in order for her to be successful, she has to leave her man. They're talking points. And this is when you bring in your crisis team so that you can get your talking points on target. Your talking points have got to be on target. One of the things I do is I tell you how to create buzz. 27 has to create buzz. I've learned a lot. Like Oprah said, how do I know all of this? Because I hosted the Oprah Winfrey Show. How do I know all of this? Because I just spent 16 years blogging about and talking to some of the most successful people out there who have made this game work for them. And I showed you guys, talk about receipts. I showed you the receipts. I showed you the conversation that I had with Marlon Wayans, who can go and do a production, go to Hollywood, go and sit down in a distribution deal and walk away with the number of screens that many of these filmmakers hope for. Nobody's getting the screens that this young man is getting. Nobody is getting the production check that these people, that, and he ain't out there running around talking about what kind of deal he got, right? Because it's all about, stop telling everybody everything. Hey Stanley, that's the thing about it. And so that's what's going on with this. But it boils down to the fact that, like you said, that people want to designate her as something that is damaged. It does boil down to the fact that there is something that is unhealthy. And it's not just Monique that's unhealthy in this situation. Oprah is unhealthy. Tyler is unhealthy. Yeah, they're billionaires. Okay? They're billionaires, but yet you're billionaires, but we're talking about you getting a bad. I mean, Monique's not a billionaire, but I'm saying between them, Oprah's a billionaire. Tyler can put it, by the time he finishes adding all this stuff up on paper, he's going to be in the billionaire circle, okay? Will Packer with the deals that he's getting. All of y'all, 3 major power players, and y'all are divisive on a distribution deal over a comedy special with Netflix, and you worried about the wrong thing. How do you look like really that is the issue? Tyler has a studio in my own neighborhood. I grew up right around the corner from where Tyler has a studio. I'm excited that the black man now owns that acreage, right? But yet, in fact, the 3 of y'all had to get together with Lee Daniels to get Precious distributed. And I've talked to Tyler. Tyler Perry. Let me not just say Tyler. Let me just not drop that name like that. I've talked to Tyler Perry about distribution. I've talked to Will Packer about distribution. I've talked to Monique. I've been in the room. Back in the day before you had to stand on the red carpet, they used to put you in a room with these people. And they still do. They did one this weekend. I guess I'm on the blacklist because I didn't get invited. But, let me not put that out there because somebody was like, well, DryerBuzz, we sent you the email. I got the email. I just don't read my email, y'all. I got to read my email. They had there was what's the show coming out, y'all? The people going back to own the Paynes. They had a dinner with Jackie the other night, and you literally get to sit down in the room. And, it's not just throwing out the one-off questions, but really having, I had an in-depth conversation with Tyler Perry. I had an in-depth conversation. You can go over there to one of my old Blog Talk radios and listen to the Tyler Perry. You can listen to Will Packer, Marlon Wayans, all these people. I've talked to them. And it's amazing to have these kind of productions out there. But then when I go to ask them, well, what about distribution? Because I don't care how many films you make until we own a distribution channel, and we still don't. You still can't distribute a movie, even digitally. They don't want to go those routes because those routes, what we own, nobody can write those checks to get these productions done. That's why you see them signing production deals. Tiffany Haddish. And let me say that they have tainted Tiffany Haddish's name so bad in the midst of all of this. People are going to look at her one of 2 ways. They're going to look at Tiffany Haddish now and wonder, well, does she have a legitimate deal? Because, all this stuff that's being thrown around, or is she one of the women that all of Hollywood is talking about now, the women who will say yes to anything? And that might not even be the case with her. She could have some legitimate people backing her, but we just want to hope that, and what this is doing by throwing her name in, because one of the things that people continue to do is pit one against the other. You got Monique, they're like, well, if you don't want, we don't like Monique, Tiffany's doing it better. Is Tiffany doing it better? Because, in order for her to get it, somebody had to open the doors that Tiffany's coming through. But what they're doing is they're tainting her success. because now we're looking at the fact we're all back here wondering. The Grammys is getting ready to come on, the Oscars getting ready to come on, and all these women are talking about the little success and strides that they have made in Hollywood was made on their backs, was made on the abuse that they have taken. So now we like, okay, but y'all said, Tiffany, and remember Tiffany went on her book tour, and the first thing people asked her was, well, what about the rape stuff? And I'm like, damn. She got a backstory too. She got a harsh backstory too. It's like, it's sad. It's sad that we don't have, and after all of these women, do we have one that has truly made it without having to suffer at the hands of Hollywood? Do we have one that has really done a legitimate deal? I mean, look at Escape. Escape come back. People want to talk about old people, but let me tell you about these sisters rocking the stage. But look at the backstory on there. We're talking about backstories. We're talking about backlash. We're talking about things backfiring. And and I woke up this morning, people tagged me and this, that, and the other, and they want to know because they trust my judgment on this situation. And all I can tell you is that this situation has become, so if you want to renew your Netflix, I can't tell you to boycott. And I would not tell you to boycott Netflix. I cancel my Netflix because I know it's just some stuff that's going on in Hollywood. And if Netflix is going to be the be-all, the end-all of distribution, because what other channel is there? What other channel is? Amazon's over there trying to be a channel. I ain't hearing y'all. Some of y'all saying y'all got Prime, but then just like Netflix, you telling me you ain't paying for your Netflix, you ain't paying for your Prime, you ain't paying for your Fire Stick. You know what I'm saying? And yet we got all these people complaining about they can't get enough money. But anyway, it's just become unhealthy, and that's why I'm backing off. And I'm not even backing off. I'm still leaning into it because I still feel like it could be fixed. I just feel like these people, guys, can't be the face of it, of getting it fixed. And I love the fact that they are out there because it will get fixed. What you're saying about distribution is important. It's like when rappers were getting their own labels and we thought they came up. When in truth, even while having their own labels, many were still shopping around, and it's still cutting off the end of your comment on my end. Still shopping around for deals. I think you said still shopping around for deals because Patrick, they didn't want to listen to Prince. Michael Jackson didn't even want to listen to Prince. Prince was talking about this very early on in the game, and you're talking about taking and using social media and converting social media. But the biggest thing that's being said out there, and people want to allude to the fact that so many people are having so much success and large followings on social media, it still comes back to getting a deal. They might have these large followings on there, and they might have amazing channels on there, but they're not getting upfront money. And when you are in the business, you need that. Like Prince even said it before. It's like one of the reasons he went back and got a deal because he said you need money to take 2-3 years off and go make an album, unless they're gonna be out here like the rest of us with a side hustle. Okay, if nobody's coming to the front, and oftentimes in black business, nobody's coming to the front with upfront money. That just ain't what we do. That's the hardest thing to convince in our ecosystem is to convince somebody to give you upfront money, and that's why these people take these bad deals and other deals and so forth because it's about upfront money. And then another thing people didn't understand is that the project that Monique is negotiating with Netflix is already done. With everybody, the project is already done. You have to go ahead and already do the project. So when you sit down to the table trying to get a deal, the first thing you must do from that deal is reimburse all of your expenses. Now, you hear me say that each and every day. All of that stuff I just pulled out my blogger's bag, I had to reimburse those expenses, all of those things. Sitting here doing these videos, there's no upfront money to come on here and be live. I then have to take the finished product from being live with you guys, go put it on a channel for which then I can monetize that or make sure the right people see it so they invite me into these other spaces and places where I can sell books or I can get royalties and things like that. And there ain't but one distribution channel on the internet, well, there are a couple, that pay royalties. Facebook ain't paying no royalties. Instagram ain't paying no royalties yet. YouTube, got your royalties. Amazon got your royalties, which is why. So let me go ahead and put Periscope on that, which is why I'm gonna hit save when I get off this Facebook. Which is why I went out and bought this iPhone 10. So I can now turn around and reimburse the expense of an iPhone 10 and keep my iPhone 6 Plus. In my mind, I'm like, this video looks good, and I love the fact that y'all are on here, but I also love the fact that it's got enough memory that I can be on here for an hour and hit that save button, and then go and load this video on YouTube and Amazon and get royalties for it. But if I went to somebody, sat down to the table and tried to get a deal to spend the year, because see, cost, the one thing we don't understand in our ecosystem is cost, okay? When I go to sit down to the table and I say, well, I need X amount of dollars in order to spend a year doing Facebook Live, right, that kind of silence right there will be had. It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, people who do this kind of stuff, they have grants. People who write books, they get a grant to go spend time writing a book. People who do documentaries, they go get a grant to spend time making those documentaries. As the audience and as the consumer, who's that watching in up there? As the audience and as the consumer, we don't think about those things. So you got to understand, remember I said in this Monique situation, there's a 60%, a 30%, and a 10%. I'm going to come back to that after I read this. Netflix just announced that they are launching a stand-up comedy series featuring young and upcoming comedians. They'll be paying those comics $26,000 for a 15-minute set. Yes, and they also, Patrick, they also announced that they are going to spend, when you think about it, right in the middle of this, they announced that they are going to spend $8 billion on content. $8 billion on content. They said that in the same week that all these black people out here talking about, I don't give a damn, they give Monique a dime. I ain't getting rid of my Netflix, okay? But what you did not, and see too many times, and this goes into that whole buy black thing, love it or leave it. We never have any kind of requirements or request any kind of return on our dollars. But we understand 60% ain't going to think like that. They just not. The 30%, they look at it. 10% of those, we're the content creators. So, that's why you're going to hear different perspectives. You're going to hear different conversations coming in on my perspective and listening to and engaging with my perspective. I'm giving you the perspective of the 30%. And I can almost kind of give you a perspective of the 10% when you think about the 10% of those who own the lane. I own a part of the lane. Tanisha, hey, baby, I own a part of the lane, meaning that I own a channel. Okay, I own a channel. I understand how important distribution is to that channel. So my perspective is going to be a little bit different. I'm just not somebody out here paying to watch Netflix, right? I want some content on Netflix, right? I own a channel of which I can place content. Let's see, we can start and build our own. We don't even have, we have our own, but again, the reason why they choose not to work with us on our own is because we can't write those upfront money checks that they want. And that's what they've said. Nobody heard it out there because they're listening with a different ear, right? You only know you're going to watch it whenever it gets on the channel. But there's a whole lot of conversations. Like right now, everybody's at Sundance, okay? The film festival. One of the reasons you take a project to the film festival is so that you can hopefully get a distribution deal. That's why everybody's at the film festivals, so that you can get. Now there are film festivals where you take the idea. I'm going to say festivals. There are festivals where festivals and industry events where you take it as an idea. There are industry events where you take an abstract of it. There are industry events where you take literally the full project and you hope to get it seen and heard and to get a deal. Then possibly, well, even once you get that deal, you're still talking about another couple of months to a year or to 2 years before it actually comes out, you know. And now what you need to understand is because of social media, you get to hear about a little bit more of this, and you get to see a little bit more of the inner workings of it. And that's what I say when I'm working with these entities, I have to let them know because of social media, we live in public. Okay, that's why you hear the backlash of the commercials. Like the latest one was H&M and the T-shirt. You know, H&M put that image in their, that's going in their catalog, that's going on their website. But what they need to understand is, even though it's you're targeting your audience, because they have a customer who gonna buy that. You know, hell, that's why the mama strutted her little boy and then put the T-shirt on. She's within that demographic, right? But there are no walls. There are no borders. There are no time zones. So somebody out, Maria Boynton, guys, stop what you're doing. Follow Maria Boynton. She is news extraordinaire. Okay? That is an award-winning journalist. You can hear her voice each and every day, weekday. And I'm probably rocking weekends too. Please follow and like, and Maria, give them a link so they can go and check you out. On Instagram, particularly, follow her on Instagram, because it's about getting those alerts, guys. It's about getting those alerts, and we are too late to the game too many times, and we need those alerts. So I love the fact that she is on here rocking their social media. Okay, so anyway, back to where I'm trying to get back. So that's why they need to understand that you might be talking to your audience. You know, like Monique came on and she said, what? Hello, my loves. That meant she was talking to her following. But again, we live in public, and within her loves is her haters. And here's the only time you will hear me talk about haters. No, it ain't the only time you hear me talk about haters. But let me give you my perspective of what a hater is, okay? There's some haters out there. Not everybody has haters. Haters are people who are attracted to errors. They linger on to people who make errors. Monique make errors. Monique made an error with this. She makes errors. And so therefore they are also in her audience. And it is those haters who will amplify the error that you make. They amplify you making an error. That's why I can be a blogger in this game for 16 years and not have any haters. If I do, I don't know where they at. Because one thing I try my darndest not to do is to make an error. And when I do make an error, I can't fix the haters. I can fix the error, right? You can immediately fix the error. Like Monique could just go, psh. And guess what? This thing will die off in less than 2 minutes, right? And I don't think I'm not one to tell her to get quiet. I'm just one to say that the reason people are not listening, are not able to hear what she is saying, because they deem and they see the errors. And the errors in this entire situation that lies not just with Monique, but with Monique, with Lee Daniels, with Tyler Perry, with Oprah, with Will Packer, with Netflix, with Lionsgate, is the fact that there is an unhealthy situation going on there. It's not Monique's marriage. Well, okay. And I'm not one to tell her, I'm not one to say that a woman can only be successful without a man. I'm just saying that the language that they use, I'm going to say it like this, because I want to end up, and I don't mind ending up in a video, because she can't do nothing but say, I heard Yolanda, I heard what you said, okay? The language in which they use, based on the relationship in which they have established, rubs not her audience, but it rubs those not in her audience the wrong way. And therefore, they spend too much time amplifying the unhealthy side of this equation to the fact that we can't hear what needs to be done in this situation. We need to have impact with Netflix. Netflix needs to understand that Monique is still, regardless of this audience that's saying she ain't popping, Monique is popping. The majority of entertainment today is going back and rebooting. If Roseanne done blew up, detonated everything. on the planet, but her show is coming back to television. Now you gonna tell me Roseanne and well, not Rosie O'Donnell, Roseanne Barr her show is being rebooted. It's coming back. I don't know if it's on Netflix or on television. So you're not gonna tell me. What you need to understand is Monique was the #1 pitch woman, and I ain't even talking about like black female. I'm telling you, everything that Monique touched had the Midas touch. Okay, what happened is Monique and her husband and also her manager decide to put a language out into the ecosystem that doesn't flow well in the biblical sense or the Bible community. What do you call it in the South? You know, it might have rocked out there on the West Coast, okay? But at the time, they was over here on the East Coast in the South, and it didn't flow too well. So it is because when she began to speak what she should be saying, what she has every right to say, it is those who then have a voice and a channel in which to amplify her era and dilute the validity of her argument. That's where the problem comes in, okay? I can still sit here and say I support Monique, but I have to say, because I have daughters, and I don't want there is nothing on American soil from shore to shore, coast to coast, that in any language you should say that you now have a relationship with anyone that had to do with raising you. That's not healthy. That's not, and you might be ahead of the game. You might be the pioneer of it, okay? Because I know there's sister wives and all that other kind of stuff. You know, we want to talk about the open relationship and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to the fact, if you want money, and most people around you are telling you, and I'm just saying, in my household, okay, anybody in pretty much all of America, you cannot use that kind of language to say that anybody who raised you is now your lover, your husband. That it's not healthy. It's not healthy. So now, mind you, you can say that man witnessed your childhood and he witnessed your upbringing and he was there to inspire you and give you all the loving words and encouragement, and you realize that was you should have loved him all along. I can get down with that. But I ain't with none of y'all women, okay? And it's a movement y'all got going on out there. I ain't with calling nobody daddy. I got a daddy, okay? And when you go to saying call me daddy, and I'm like, but I got a daddy, and I don't know how. No, I can't call you daddy. I can't. I got a daddy, okay? And we rock it like this. We're not gonna bring that scenario into. You don't. It's unhealthy. That is the era. Because I kept looking at this and I kept saying, why are people not hearing Monique? Why are they so emotional? Why are they so argumentative on this? Why are they bringing in all of this other stuff when clearly it is a situation of Netflix? We have so many out there of saying that they're not getting a good deal, but people keep bringing it back to her and her husband. Like, why people keep bringing it back to her and her husband? It is because of the language that they use that's turning people off. It is that language. And I'm sorry, it is not healthy. That is not healthy language. And I would think after making the movie Precious, because I mean, even to do the movie Precious, you would have done a little bit of homework and research, and you would have looked like, honey, we looking as crazy as this damn Precious movie. We need to say something else. Because don't tell me, everybody looking at Gabby, like, Gabby, you got a whole lot of money. It's time for you to get healthy, okay? And Gabby, you know, she was getting a whole lot of checks for being Gabby, but now she done went and got healthy, and people still mad, but, you know, I'm just saying, you know, it's not, Monique is just not healthy. And this ain't the first time, because the last time I got in the room with Monique, and I had a chance to interview Monique, and this was when she was still trying to rock the big girl, and we were like, that's just not healthy. You know, I know you say you don't have high blood pressure, you say you don't have diabetes, but it's just not, it's not healthy. It's not, and I understand, I ain't trying to do anti-curves and anti-BBW and nothing like that. I'm just saying, She's changed. She now works out every day. We watch her on Periscope every day. She's working out. You know what I'm saying? And so what happens is, because people see the errors and you haven't necessarily explained that, or you haven't necessarily moved from or fixed the errors, it's going to always come back. You're going to always deem yourself as having haters. And if you don't want the haters, because you can't fix the haters, you just fix the errors. Change the language. Change the language. It's okay to say that your husband witnessed your childhood. Hell, if he was the boy next door, he gonna see it. You know, if he was in and out the family, if he was, your friend, hopefully not your daddy's friend or your mama's friend, because, that would make it. Remember, let me tell y'all something. Those of y'all that love that movie, Gone with the Wind lost me in the first few lines of the script. Miss Scarlett, the Wilkses married their cousins. I was like, never mind the fact that I was always rooting for the slaves and never Miss Scarlett, because I can't stand Miss Scarlett. But the line in the movie says, well, Miss Scarlett, the Wilkses only married their cousins. So why is Miss Scarlett in love with her cousin? That's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. So I didn't have no problem with Sherman coming through and tearing it down and blowing it up. I didn't have no problem with Rhett Butler saying, well, Miss Scarlett, I don't give a damn. And I don't want y'all to be saying, Monique, I don't give a damn. I don't want nobody to say that. I want us to understand that what's going on in Hollywood is real. And I want Monique and her husband to stay together. I want him to stay her manager. I want her lawyer to stay her lawyer, because they clearly own to something. But I need them to deal with. And if her, what do they say? You become your circle. And let me tell y'all something. The minute these other unhealthy folk became her circle, doing the film with Lee Daniels, unhealthy. Lee Daniels pulling in Oprah and Tyler Perry, both of them just unhealthy. Okay? It is what it is. They're unhealthy. Okay? Who else? What's going on with Will Packer and these folk in Hollywood is something unhealthy. People generally look to celebrities to validate their feelings and beliefs. You're right. The language communicated to explain her relationship rubs many the wrong way. It shouldn't, but it does. It shouldn't, but it does. And folk, and you got to break your stuff up. It won't let me see it on the camera though. And I mean, but that's the bottom line. And when you look at this, and see, that should be Patrick, that should give her some comfort. Unhealthy all around. That should give her some comfort, because you know what? The language is the easiest part to fix. The language she can fix in one Periscope. And I say it each and every day, because I'm a what? I got the answers, okay? I got the brand new answers. Donald Trump can come on here and in one sentence flip everybody over to his side. I honestly believe that. And if he ever say, Yolanda, come to the White House, I'm on my way. Because when you acknowledge the error, you can fix it. That's all it's going to take, Patrick. That's all it's going to take. She ain't got to leave her husband. She ain't got to fire him as a manager. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Even if she did all of that, it's only going to be more unhealthy. If she leaves her husband, then you got another heartbroken black woman out there. And based on her heartbreak, she going to have a whole lot to say at the mic. That's going to make a real special. Hell, I mean, look at Kevin Hart. He done damn well destroyed his family. That's going to make for a real nice special. It made for a damn good interview on The Breakfast Club. Okay, it makes for a real good couple of Instagrams, but yet we have another heartbroken black woman out there. And everybody said, well, she deserves it. That's karma. But I'm sorry, here go the book right here. Here go the book right here in which the boy said, I can't make this up. Look, yeah, I do have Kevin Hart's book. It was one of the most, look, it's a big ass book too. Kevin Hart wrote a big ass book telling y'all he ain't gonna be no good in marriage. He's a creative. He's a creative. It's all about creating content. He did so much. I don't know the word for the kind of neglect. He neglected. I'm not gonna, because it wasn't necessarily abuse. He neglected his first marriage so bad. He neglected their relationship when they were dating. Her parents kept telling her, leave that dude alone. And not because he was a bad guy. He just was trying to get somewhere. He was trying to get to a place. And then here you are trying to not force him, but convince him to love, to be a boyfriend, to be a lover, to be a husband. You're giving him responsibilities when he has failed at every level of responsibility. He done already told you his parents, he was an accident, and then y'all giving him babies, and and it's like, and then you want him to be a father when he ain't figured out fatherhood, he ain't figured out manhood, but he is hella funny. He's hella funny. Okay? And then here comes the second woman. You was an excellent girlfriend, and you didn't learn from the first wife. The first wife learned, I can't give this man no responsibility. But now you want him to make you an honest woman, and you want him to be a husband to you when he done already said in this big-ass book that ain't what he do. And then here you come giving him responsibility. And what does he do again? He steps out against the responsibility because that's who and what he is. And now here he is talking about, I love my woman. She's a strong woman. Stop forcing these women, Kevin, to be strong women. And just tell them, just imagine it, and most of y'all men do. Y'all be like, I love her because she stuck with me. She went through all my stuff with me. Why does a woman have to do all of that to be classified as a strong woman? I don't care. I don't need to be a strong woman. And it's, look at his face. Kevin, like, Yolanda, put my book back up on the shelf. Put my book back up in it. I got a book swing up here. And in the book swing, let me see if I can get it to sit. Now I don't want to go back up there. Hold on, I got to get the book back to the thing. Okay, but book is back. I have a swing like this one on this side too. And that's one of the books that we read. And it's a damn good book. And if you ever want to understand the creative mind of the creative man and why men cheat, he spells it out. I can't make this up. Life lessons, he spells it out. But I'm just telling you, that's just how this thing works, So where are we? We watching Netflix or no? It depends. Because in the bottom line of all of this, Netflix did go to her with a bad deal. For those of you that saying Monique ain't popping, Monique is popping. Monique told you. Hell, her last movie made a profit of $25 million. And they tried to put her against a person whose movie made a profit of $3 million. Because, hell, they value the $3 million more than they value the, and I think if all of this didn't happen, and Netflix came out and said we got a Monique special, I think everybody would have been right there watching the Monique special. When you acknowledge the error, you can fix it. You got to acknowledge the error and fix it. I had to acknowledge the error. That's why I'm at a point of beginning again. It wasn't really an error. But there's some errors in there. Luckily, nobody saw it and became a hater. But I acknowledged them, and I'm acknowledging the error now, and I don't even think it was an error. I'm just glad I was able to look at this situation because I kept asking, why are people not listening? Why are people not hearing? And one of the reasons that people were not listening and were not hearing Monique was because there's something unhealthy there. Because I kept saying, these people are going a little too deep. They're going a little too deep. What is it? And it's language. It's literally language. But language has always been a barrier. Language has always been a barrier. Think about it. Language is probably a barrier in your own relationship, in your own household, in your own the nature of business, in your own social media following. How often have we had that argument where women don't want to say they need a man, but they want a man? Well, men don't want you to say you want a man. They want you to need a man. And it's literally the same thing, but it's a language barrier. This has been a language barrier with Monique, her and Daddy, Monique and Daddy. It's a language barrier. I don't want to be around any woman who calls her husband Daddy. Now understand, there's a whole hashtag out there called what? Team Daddy. And I'm sorry if it denotes an issue with a paternal issue. It's a paternal issue. Netflix is yet to answer requests for comment. And that's the thing about it. There are leaked emails out there saying that there was an original $3 million deal. But the only statement that Netflix themselves have made is that they do not comment or that I've seen in legitimate news sources is that they're saying to legitimate news sources that they do not comment on negotiations. There are others who are putting out emails and sending them to inboxes and things like that. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are lost tribes of Israel. Go. So, you know, it is what it is. You decide. You now have to decide. You have to decipher where you want your Netflix. And for all of y'all out there that are watching, that are on somebody else's, got somebody else's Netflix code, Netflix, you got a profile on somebody else's, they've been inboxed. They have been inboxed to know that they have to, you got to pay. You can only have a limited number of devices, and you know that Netflix now knows if you're going to watch on this device and that device, and they know that, well, this device is over there on the East Coast and this device over there on the West Coast. You know, it's like how many devices you can only have based on, there's plans now based on devices. They have redid the whole thing. So if Netflix learned anything, it's how y'all are abusing the subscription. So they're like, you can only have X amount of devices, X amount of profiles, and you're gonna get what you pay for. You're gonna pay for what you get. But why is it that Netflix is why is Netflix the top distribution channel? Amazon is out there. Hell, YouTube TV. Is anybody doing the whole YouTube? I just went back to my YouTube channel. Hell, Will Smith just started a YouTube channel and so forth. So that's what it is. I think this thing is dying down. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. Okay, now I can talk about follow the Garrisons. I am so in love with the Garrisons right now. They are a media family, keeping up with the Garrisons, y'all. And I don't want to see them on a reality show. But I'm just so in awe of what they're doing. An event that I'm going to today is I don't want to bring up on the screen there. Or should I? Let me see. Jerry Garrison. You've seen Jerry Garrison as an extra in a lot of films that have been filmed here in Atlanta, Hidden Figures and so forth. She is, a mom. She's, an actress. Her husband, Clark Garrison, he's been doing this thing just as long as I have. And he just did a docuseries that you can watch on Netflix. And not Netflix, YouTube. Hopefully to come to Netflix. Let me go over here to YouTube. Let me get this. Let's see here. I'm gonna just show you a little bit. And I love him, and I'm going to go today, and I am going to, let's see, QUE. Okay, Clark Garrison. I'm trying to remember. I have a channel for it. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, this is what I'm subscribed to, so. Okay, click photo. What I love about this, and I'm sorry I have a black background, but you'll be able to see the video when I play it. I want to salute Clark Garrison, and I want to invite you to start keeping up with the Garrisons, because they are making this thing work for what it's worth. And for those of you who you have content out there, you're looking for distribution and how to turn this into a true, thank you so much, how to turn this into a true channel, how to get people to convert, become subscribers, become followers, storytelling. It's about storytelling. I operate under the African proverb, when the lion gets a storyteller, the hunter no longer has the better part of the story. And that's what we're watching. Hello there. That's what we're watching out of this Monique situation, because whether or not Monique should or should not be the face of a movement that is underfoot. It is a movement that is underfoot that's going to change up negotiations. Notice there's a movement going on all over Hollywood because the money is drying up, pure and simple. And it's 2:00, and I do need to get off of here. But there are others. If you're not gonna support Monique, if you're not going to, if you're not a Netflix, if you cut the cord, and if you whatever reasons you have for whatever it is that you do, hopefully at the same time that you can say it's, you can give a list of as many things that you do not support, hopefully at the same time you can say what you do support. So I don't want to end this video and saying that, and not saying or giving you something to support. I want you to go over to YouTube and I want you to put in Clark Garrison, and I'm going to share this again today, as well as an event. Now the event I think is a private screening because they just basically invited in those who support them already as they get ready to launch this. What Clark did looks like 11 episodes where he went out and he interviewed a number of photographers and talk to them about how they have grown in their craft. Some of them accidentally became a photographer. I accidentally became a photographer, even though it was then me following in my father's footsteps, who had an amazing love for photography and the content and the stories. You know, I get that. I get a lot of what I do here, making sure I got the right shot so in case you guys screenshot, you know, finding my light and all of that. I get that from my father. So I have such a respect for photographers because our image is so important. And they always say a picture tells, you know, picture is worth 1,000 words. It's worth 1,000 words and millions in conversion at this point. So shout out to Clark Garrison, who interviewed all of these photographers. Let me just give you a couple of names, because some of these names you're gonna. Joy Pearson. Everybody knows Joy Pearson from Michael and Joy in the Morning. Brian Christensen. If you guys saw the program that was the program for the pictures that circulated for Amanda Davis, whom we lost, was a anchor woman here. Those pictures were taken by Brian Christensen. Ty Myrick, Kat Godico. And I love her name because it's Godico. Corey Cottrell, which, you know, I love the one he did on Corey Cottrell because it came along at the time that that the bearded man was trending. Drea Nicole, Omega Ruth Jr., Demetrius Williams, River West. And so all of them, he did an amazing interview, because to turn the camera on a photographer, because they're out there, they set the tone for everything that we see, the images that we have in our head. But to turn the camera on them, not only that, the production value, this is why I say you got to keep it up with the Garrisons, the production value on this project. And I'm trying to figure out which one I want to show because they're all amazing. Let me see. I'll give you a little bit of this one with Joy.
Honestly, in elementary school. So my dad gave me a camera in elementary school and was very, very adamant about what I took photos of, because obviously film back then was expensive to get developed. So that's where kind of like the love of photography came from. And then when
it started in the middle because I was already watching.
For the next time you hire a photographer. Are you recording this? Okay, well, booyah. Hi, my name is Joy Pearson, and I'm a photographer. I'm standing outside waiting for you.
That was the joystick, and I'm using that joystick.
Shooting since I was honestly in elementary school. So my dad gave me a camera in elementary school and
what I'm going to do, guys, is give you a couple more of the intros on this. I'm going to give you a couple of the women. We're going to give you a couple of the women. I'm going to give a couple guys too. But I just thought the production value on this was so amazing. Love my joystick. I use it almost every day. I'm telling you, you guys are on my joystick right now. And the joystick was created by Joy. All right, and I just kind of want to talk through these. I just kind of want to talk through these because the music, and I don't want Facebook to do anything with the music.
Click.
Awesome. Let me get one more in here right quick. And this one I think is one of my favorites too. Hold on, let me go back to the beginning. All right. So today let me stop that. So shout out, and I love the fact that if you notice that they were taking their tools out of their bag. And one of the things I did for those of you that weren't at the beginning of this video, I went through and I took out my blogger tools out of my bag, and I'm gonna, I'll do that again. Again, I have my microphone in my bag. My microphone, my selfie stick, and then I have a very comfortable pair of shoes. And I will have my two devices in here, my phone, and then I'm gonna have my other phone. I might have an iPad. But this is one of the bags, depending on the event that I'm going. And I need to carry a nice bag to this event, which I'm going to tonight. They're hosting a screening for those. Hey, Dad, let's see, still waiting on my joystick. I'm gonna see Joy tonight. I will see Joy tonight. Bring them on camera. Bring who on camera? Oh, tonight. So I'm gonna go to this event tonight, and it's Clark Garrison, Klarque. If you follow him on Facebook. But I just wanted to end by just telling you guys something to support, because too often, we talk about don't like this, don't support that, and I think the biggest error that Monique made in this is knowing that they were not going to go back to Netflix and not knowing how this was going to become backlash or backfire or blow up, that they would possibly not have the opportunity to even go back to Netflix. They didn't give us an alternative. And one thing that we have to do is give people an alternative. What we understand about telling people how to boycotts. Let's talk about that. The one thing we're trying to tell people to boycott is you can't tell people how to spend their money. Nobody's trying to hear that. I don't know why. But you have to tell them about the alternative. And that's something I think, that's a mistake that we have made time and time again throughout history. When I look at the bus boycott, the biggest thing that to my dismay, coming out of the bus boycott is if we didn't end up with any kind of ownership in transportation. We caused a major change in an industry, but yet we didn't end up with any kind of ownership in transportation. And when you think about it, if you go back to Marcus Garvey, who was all about logistics and transportation, and how people still to this day won't even recognize Marcus Garvey, and they won't even recognize the economic struggles, the real economic struggles of the civil rights movement, or the real economic struggles or successes of the Black Panther movement, the real economic struggles in the Black Lives, or economic successes in the Black Lives Matter movement. Out of all of these movements, we still ended up with no ownership. And so even if, thanks for coming back, Patrick, even if Netflix is now offering out amazing deals, we still don't have a distribution channel. We still don't have any kind, let me come back in the shot. We still don't have any kind of ownership of this. They're still not. They didn't turn around and say, "Oh, well, we're not gonna do a deal with Netflix." Well, I mean, and then they kind of find out you out there making movies for free. You out there doing stuff on the low, and you won't even do it for channels that are out there for you. Okay, you made the movie on the low and expected something on the back end. Why don't you go over there to the black dish? We have black. In fact, Bob Johnson, who started BET, has a black, quote unquote, black Netflix. There's an urban movie channel, which is the same, has the same subscription base. It has the distribution, but that's only if you checking for black movies, and most of y'all ain't. And I'm like, well, it's the urban movie channel, but why do y'all only have black movies? Because 60% of the audience ain't just checking for black movies. They ain't just checking for black comics. And truth be told, the people who are watching the most in black comedy or consuming black content is the larger audience that's trying to appropriate the content. Hell, they know more black colloquialisms than we do. They, you know what I'm saying? It's like some of the stuff. I'm like, what are you saying? I don't know. I'm like, I'm out of the loop. You know, you gotta go. I'm like one place. I'm like, what are they saying? They appropriate. So you know, the bottom line is, you know, we don't know. The bottom line is, even if Netflix goes to Monique and offer her $100 million deal, we still won't have any ownership. We still won't be able to do anything with that. You know, and why are people still trying to get a deal? Can I get a piece of the ownership? Why is Oprah Winfrey the only one out there saying, yeah, but I'm gonna need to own a piece of it? You know, Weight Watchers came with a deal, but yeah, I'm gonna need ownership. Is Oprah the only one asking for ownership? I know I asked for ownership. I don't know about y'all. I'm like I said, I own a channel. Okay. I own a channel. My company is called Distribution, established 1992, because I knew the internet was coming. I'm just saying, you know, I think 92, 93, when did I start that company, right? Because I knew digital was coming, okay? And I have done a digital screening. You know, we had several thousands of people watching a digital film of Barack Obama's election day. I knew to have have a channel running on Inauguration Day, because I knew that there were still at that time millions of people who weren't going to be able to jump on a device or on an internet connection, that they were going to need to go old school. You know, I'm like, hell, I ran a conference call. I was like, everybody ain't got the internet. Everybody ain't got broadband. Shit, we done spent 20 years trying to close the digital divide. I'm gonna run a conference call. People are gonna be on the bus. People are gonna be at the wash house. And literally, that's what they said. They was on the bus. They was at the wash house. They didn't have television. They didn't have the internet. They jumped on the conference call and listened. People, all of my tech friends in the tech sphere, they were like, "You gonna run a conference call?" I said, "Yeah, because the internet's gonna crash." All these people trying to watch Barack Obama's inauguration, the internet's going to crash. I'm gonna be on a conference call. And you know what I did? I had several thousand people on that conference call. And you know what I did? I put the phone in front of the television. And you know what? At the end of that conference call, do you know how many phone numbers I had that I could then text? I'm just saying. And the internet did crash. Everybody who was watching a live stream or listening online, they lost connection. And they then did what? They jumped on the phone call. And I literally took the phone and laid it down in front of the telephone, the TV. I laid the phone in front of the TV, and I then jumped on Blog Talk. I had Blog Talk going on, and I had a conference call for people to call in and listen to Barack Obama's first one, inauguration speech. And at the end of that call, I had all of those phone numbers that I could then text people and say, go back and listen to it, go check out my website, and different things like that. I know distribution, and that's what this is. You might think you're just going to watch Netflix. It's about Black America having a distribution channel, and we still don't have that. You got, in this mix, this unhealthy thing that's going on with Monique, you got Oprah, you got Tyler Perry, you got Will Packer, and they're at the top of the Hollywood game. They're at the top. There's nobody still, there's somebody higher than all of them And that's Byron Allen. Ain't nobody got a deal like Byron Allen yet. Byron Allen is still, and people got like, who's Byron Allen? Talk about comedy, go Google Byron Allen comedy. That's what Monique should have been. Well, actually, that's what Monique was trying to do. That's what all of them doing. Do a project, go to somebody and get your deal. But ain't nobody surpassed Byron. And Byron Allen's in that 1%. Who's in the 1%, Yolanda? People who are unbothered. Byron Allen is a comedian. He hosts a TV show, Comics Unleashed. And he is unbothered. I'm trying to get in that 1% where I could just be unbothered. I'm still in that 30% trying to bring folk. That 30% of people trying to bring folk along with them. And we just need to learn to let y'all go. Let y'all believe what y'all believe. I want to get in that 1% so bad so I could just be unbothered, you know. And the 1% is the 1% is 10%, really. 10%. Well, there's 10% unbothered, but 1% are the owners, and they're unbothered because they own it all. But the 10%, the 9% is the ones that are unbothered. I want to be so unbothered with this. I want to be that somebody that could just see Monique out there talking, her husband boo-hooing, and see the conversation going and just be unbothered. But no, I'm in the 30%. I got to go out there and try to save some of y'all from the 60% that's going to have y'all back on the plantation. That 60% y'all out there talking about, you ain't get rid of Netflix. That 60% going to have y'all back on the plantation. I'm telling y'all going to end up back on the plantation. You're going to be slaves again. I hate to get that deep with you, but that's 60%. Because, you know, what you don't know is that during that time, 30% was free and free forever. 30% have been free and free forever. I'm just saying, I'm in that 30% trying to keep y'all from ending up back on the plantation. But go ahead on, have fun, enjoy yourselves with the 60%. Just make sure you have an escape route. Keep tabs on those of us in the 30%. And do keep tabs, because if I ever get to that 10%, you're going to be like, where you long to go? What DryerBuzz, y'all? What DryerBuzz? DryerBuzz over there in that 10%. I'm trying to get my necklace straight. Get this camera, it's like backwards. All right, I thank you guys so much. Our anniversary is coming up. March the 13th will be the official 16th year for DryerBuzz. Hashtag DryerBuzz, DryerBuzz.com. 16 years. So I kind of know a little something of what I've been talking about. And I have talked to a number of these people. And do I want to talk to them now? Nope, because they're unhealthy. Shout out to Shannon for my t-shirt, for taking the brand to that next level. Shout out to everybody that has watched and shared. If you caught this video on one of your friends' timeline, thank them for sharing some good. Hopefully you enjoyed it, some good stuff with it. You got good friends. If you saw any of these videos on your friend's timeline, you got good friends, and we have been here far too long. We've had an amazing conversation, and I thank you guys so much for allowing me to hold your attention, to entertain you, and to give you some good information. That's what we do at DryerBuzz.com. Don't forget, this is the year of keeping up with the Garrisons. So if you ain't watching Netflix, go over there and watch YouTube. Or if you're watching Netflix, also go over there and check out some great stuff that people have on their YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Garrisons. Subscribe to DryerBuzz. I've got some great stuff on my YouTube. This is going on the YouTube. And so forth. But just, listen. Fix your errors. If you think you got haters, you probably made an error. You can't fix the haters, but you can go fix the error. And guess what? The haters will move on to something else. I appreciate all you do. Patrick Phillips, I appreciate all you do. And I was thinking about you this morning because we were talking about Vine. Patrick, guys, used to have a real funny Vine. Patrick, where can we find you now? I see some of your stuff come through on Facebook, but I know you did a lot on the Vine and so forth. And I guess is it Instagram or you Periscope? Where is your distribution channel? Patrick, tell us before I hit that button. Where is your distribution channel? Where is your distribution channel? And if you are not distributing, where are you supporting? Who are you supporting? As I end this, the conversation doesn't stop here. There are comments. Those of you on Periscope can tweet me. Who are you supporting? RipThemUp.com. Yes, RIPPDEMUP.com. And yes, he does. He rips them up. RipThemUp.com. That's right. So definitely go. That's his channel. That is his channel. Stop saying your website and this. That's his channel. That's the piece of this landscape that he owns. Go over there and support and you're going to get some really good conversations, some really good talking points, and some great debates. So thank you guys so much for watching me. I'm going to head out into the city that is Atlanta for living Atlanta style, and I'm going to go see what's going on in a couple of places, but most importantly, I'm going to end up at a private screening for Click, Klique, which is produced by Clark Garrison, where he has done some amazing storytellers about some Atlanta photographers. Everything that you know and have seen or think about Atlanta was probably captured by these photographers, and it is part of the Atlanta branding. They set the tone, and it got me back interested in a little bit of photography. And for those of you that have great stuff, let me give you one more lesson. If you've got great images on your Instagram, that could be your next book, okay? If you want a book, one of the things to think about in the content that you have out here, content you have on your blog, content you have on your Instagram, videos you have on your Periscope. There are channels of distribution out here that you can use to take some of those blog posts, get somebody to go over to Fiverr or wherever you need to go and get somebody to do your book cover. Zakia Ringo, she went over there to Fiverr and got her book cover done. And this is her first one. She's just now published her second one. And she's doing these little recipe books. They're just short recipe books. She's a soap maker. And so she's taking and publishing her recipes along with some wisdom of being a soap maker. And she started her business on Periscope, and now she's one of the most amazing soap makers out there. So, it's about what do you own? It's not just about what do you consume, what do you own? What piece of this landscape, this real estate out here in this digital space, okay, there's 3 levels to it. There's the tangible, this print level. There is the intellectual digital level. And then there's also, the free level, which is your blogs and those kinds of things, all these different platforms that offer no royalties. But take it to that next level. There are people that'll say, well, Yolanda, I can't always stop what I'm doing and watch the video. Where can I download it? Oh, and then I tell them where they can go and download it, where I get a royalty. Because, people who want convenience, they pay for convenience. Then there are those that say, well, where can I see you live? And I'm like, there's a premium customer. So then I always make sure I have a calendar on the date that people can see me live. Come and sit down, have breakfast with me, or meet me for drinks or different things like that. When you hear people say, I wish that you did this, or I wish that you did, that's a level of service that you should offer. And nobody says you have to do it for free. Stop telling Monique she got to do it for free. Because you telling Monique she got to do it for free because you think you have to do it for free. You don't have to do it for free. Monique don't have to do it for free. So stop telling Monique to be quiet. Well, Monique, you need to change up the language on the daddy thing. But at the same time, Zakia, I was just holding up your book. All Monique has to do at this point, all Donald Trump has to do at this point, is just change up the language. Language is everything. Language is by and far, foremost, the first barrier that we have is the ability to communicate. If you want to take over the world, you cannot take over the world unless you can communicate and take over the broadcast. Monique has the ability to take over the broadcast, clearly. She took over every channel that's out there. But the language was not right. The language was incorrect. The language was her error. And that's it. Stop right there. Don't try to degrade the sister. Don't tell her to leave her husband. Don't tell her to fire him as a manager. Just fix the language. Fix the language. And then people will begin to listen. Been in and out, but once again, great comments. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, guys. We're hitting up there. So let me go and hit this button. Filter the entire internet for DryerBuzz. You'll see all the great conversations and great debates that we've had out there. And then also make sure you give us a follow. And again, if you're watching this video, if you saw this video on a friend's timeline, thank your friends for putting you in with DryerBuzz. Bye, guys. All right, Facebook. Bye-bye.